All right, folks, here you go. Here we are. Yep, that's me. I'm on your screen. I'm on your hearts. I'm on your mind. This is your guy, Dolphins AD Moore. With the on the AdMax corner and also on the Houston Roundball Review. And if you have not thought about it, please go ahead and subscribe to both of the channels. Today, your Texans, as of today, as of this moment, as my voice is emanating over around the world, is 0-3-1. I think I'm right. I think if you tie one game and lose three, and you don't have any in the win column, I think it's a 0 goes in the first. The loss
Yeah.
column is the 3, and we got the tie. Thank God for the tie, because if not, boy, we'll be 0-4 right now. We'll be sitting there, everybody trying to figure out what's wrong with the Texans. But before we get down to the hard tax, I got the guys, one traveling, Elwin on the road. I got the MVP. Everybody's waiting, but let me go ahead and take care of this, and we're gonna get back and get into it.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Ken Ross Agency, 281-235-5952. And as I mentioned earlier in my opening, your Texans did not win today, 34-24. And be quite candid with you, it was over with. It was probably over with in the first quarter after
Yeah.
everything. But you know what? I'm not going to be the total bearer of bad news. I'm bringing the guys in, and we getting ready to chop it up, gentlemen. Elwin on the road, MVP,
Yeah.
Lemon Williams.
What's
All right,
up,
guys,
AD?
round
What's up,
table.
Irwin?
Let's go. Lemon, start with it from the top. What happened today? What was wrong?
It felt like the Texans didn't come prepared. I mean, they didn't come prepared at all from the beginning. They did lackluster offense. Offensive line couldn't slow down the defensive line. Give the San Diego. Give the LA
That's
Chargers.
okay. We'll make that mistake.
Yeah, give the LA Chargers credit, man. Defensively, up front, they brought pressure against the Texans early, and it showed in the first half. They was able to force turnovers, capitalize on that, and it kind of cruised to a victory. The Texans made that late push, but it was all Chargers to me for all 4 quarters. I mean, really 3 quarters. Texans did pretty good on the back end.
Elwin.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Lemont completely. And of course, the sad thing is it all started falling apart on that first possession with the interception that Davis Mills threw on a ball that should have never been thrown.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of funny. I think Lemont and I, we were sitting up there with, we were at the table and we were just sort of discussing, Davis's problems and so forth.
Mhm.
And the one thing, and I paid particular attention to this during the whole game was he actually getting his feet set? I know everybody's about to kill Pep, and like it's Pep's fault, this Pep fault, that. Pep, let me tell you something. I don't give a darn what Pep called. If there isn't a trust factor, if there isn't an execution factor going on, and I think then this is when we're getting ready to put Lovey up here, because I got a clip from Lovey because doing this presser. If there's not an execution factor going on, guys, I don't care what play we call it. You're not going to win. I mean, saw high balls, low balls. I mean, for a little bit, I thought we were looking at a baseball pitch, and I thought this was the Astros trying when they were struggling with them 100-loss season. But let's listen to get the coach in here and get his quick enunciation on his problems on his team.
Some of the other things that that cause you to lose games. I mean, too many pre-snap penalties. Again, I'm going to talk about those. Passing game wise, And I thought we had a few big plays, but consistency, of course, wasn't there. And on defensive side, I mean, the first half, again, we didn't start well. I mean, of course, that was definitely the case. We let them move it up. Big plays in the passing game really hurt us. But saying all of that, we got ourselves in a position there late. And, it didn't help missing the field goal early. We fourth down at the end of the half, not converting on it. But with all that being said, we had an opportunity late where we were down one score, and we needed to get a stop defensively. And the two big pass plays, of course, doomed us. So injury-wise, we had a few guys that went out. Blake Cashman went out, and I'll normally talk about guys that didn't come back in and didn't come back in. He's in the concussion protocol. Take your question.
And guys, like Lovey mentioned, taking everything in consideration, at the halftime it was 27-7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Lemont, I don't know if you're a prophet or not, but when the Texans had fourth and really was less than one, it really wasn't a complete one. And you just sit there and like Nostradamus, you say, well, this is going to be the determinant for the rest of the game. And you know what? Khalil Mack just blew up the whole play.
Yeah.
And here's what's interesting to me, and love it, and it was brought up in the press conference on that 4th and 1, and how come Damian Pierce went in? He said, well, it was an obvious passing play, so he wasn't in there. Hello, don't you think that has now been on somebody else's sheet now? That 4th and 1, Damian's not in there. I mean, because let's face it, the Texans, I mean, the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, and I'm gonna probably call them the San Diego Chargers since I still got family staying in San Diego. But they on 3 occasions they came out on that naked bootleg and they hurt the Texans 3 times.
Yep.
One time, Lovey clearly said, well, that was a bust on our part. It doesn't really necessarily look like a bust, because I tell you what, it was 3 big busts, and they made the Texans pay for it today. I mean, I'm just trying to understand, Elvin. I mean, your perspective as you driving down 59.
Well, the first thing when Lovey said that, and I love Lovey Smith, as you know, he's from 15 miles south of where I'm from, but how in the world is 4th and 1 an obvious passing situation, first of all? And secondly, why in the world do you want to pass there when you need a half a yard when Pierce has done what he's done? Now, I'm not going to blame that on Pep Hamilton, because as you heard the same thing I heard, AD, the question was asked, okay, so Pep is the offensive coordinator. Does he make the call? Who makes the decision there? And Lovey said, it all goes through me. I can't imagine why in the world, as successful as they'd been running the ball up to that point, you would even think about throwing a pass, because, there's that old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. And I agree.
Go ahead, Lima.
I agree with Erwin. It just felt like Damian Pierce had the momentum. I mean, prior to that, he had the 75-yard run that really put him on the scoreboard and gave him some hope. So why go with a pass play? Take your chance 4th and 1, put it on your offensive line, put it on your running back. I mean, it felt like Damian Pierce at least get you 1 yard. I mean, not if not get you the first down. So the Texans took a lot of gambles offensively, and it cost them. I mean, the Chargers did a really good job of executing and taking advantage of that. And you'd never want to do a play action or roll towards Khalil Mack's side. I mean, that's the last place you want to roll to. And they did that, and he had him he sacked him for 8-yard loss. And I told you that, AD, prior to that, I said, man, this is going to dictate the rest of the game. If the Texans can't get 1 yard, if you can't get 1 yard in the NFL, that says a lot about your offensive line.
Well, it sure does.
Well, here's the thing. Even the fact if it did go toward, if they did go at Khalil Mack, I mean, Khalil Mack. But you know what? I don't care who you are. I mean, if it's set up right, and if you do some nice diversions, because for a while there, man, I thought I was the way the Chargers was sitting up there putting man in motion and everything. I thought for a little bit I was watching the Canadian football, man, because they had guys. No, seriously, guys, they had guys
Yeah.
in motion, coming back in
Yep.
motion. I mean, when you start, I mean, I don't played on that other side of the ball. When you watching your keys and all of a sudden you start adjusting, you start moving. Hey guys, you know what happened, Lima? When y'all start moving, you create blocking angles. When you make guys have to make an adjustment and so forth. But I'm sitting up there watching the Texans. I doubt if they put anybody in. They might have put somebody in motion in what, maybe a handful of times. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if they even got that much. But you know, the fact that you start and I'm sitting here now, not gonna question Pep, but I'm sort of wondering, is with Davis struggling, has Pep really shortened the playbook to the point that he just really can't get into it and start giving a lot of motions and everything? I don't know what you think, Lemont, then Elwin.
I think he's shortcomings, like you said, as far as the playbook. Prior to the game starting, I talked to you about it, and we talked about it before the game kicked off. I wanted to see him to release Mills, kind of like open the playbook up, not be aggressive, not be so conservative, and be predictable. I thought their offense was predictable the last couple of weeks, and it showed today as well. To me, I thought they was very predictable offensively, and you could just tell David Mills didn't have a flow. Many coaches and offensive coordinators script their first 15 plays. It just felt like the Texans was winging it the first couple series, trying to figure out, okay, are we going to be a running team today, or are we going to be a passing team? And by that time, LA Chargers already knew what they wanted to do. They came in, they pounded ground. They came in running the football. Their running game helped them establish the passing game with Michael Williams. Like you said, the rollout bootleg was really helping Justin Herbert's confidence. And the Chargers just moved down the field at ease for the first couple of series, and they set the tone.
Yeah, Elwin.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Lemont said. Here's the thing that you mentioned it earlier, AD, and I think this is the biggest problem with Davis Mills, and I guess it's hard for me to figure out why can't somebody work with him on it. I was watching him all day long, and very seldom did he throw a pass where his feet were set. He was dancing around back there like he was on Dancing with Stars. I'm sorry, I like the guy, but he never could get his feet set before he threw the ball. And I know, AD, you left out before Davis came in. I stayed, and I asked him a question, and I was just scratching my head at the answer he gave me. I think we all know you get a franchise quarterback in the NFL, whether it's his fault or not, and you ask him, hey, you guys have been close, but you hadn't been able to close it out in 4 games. What do you need to do different in order to find that victory? And every one of us and any NFL fan that's ever watched an NFL quarterback during a press conference, the quarterback will always say, well, I got to play better. It starts with me. Yep. And it blew me away. Davis Mills' answer to me was, we got to start fast and we got to finish. I'm sorry, but that just doesn't sound like a franchise quarterback answer.
Yeah, I agree with that, Erwin. I think, I think the Texans are putting too much pressure on him early on to be a franchise quarterback when he's still developing. He's still trying to figure his way out in this thing, and it's trial by fire, right? AD, he learning on the job every week, and he has it's the toughest position in the world where you got 1 week for audition. Every week, every Sunday or every Thursday night is your audition, and if you're not ready, then you got the next week to try to come back and improve yourself. And right now, Davis Mills is not really showing a lot of us media personalities and media that cover the team as well as the fans that he's reliable in a franchise quarterback.
Guys, let me throw this out. Let me throw this out here, and it just occurred to me. I mean, we got a couple of backup quarterbacks, but none of those guys are seasoned quarterbacks that can get in his ear. We don't have a quote unquote veteran quarterback that can just sit in his ear, and because I know Pep worked with him as a quarterback coach. He's the OC now. There's another quarterback coach, but I'm talking about a guy who's been in the league a lot, who can sort of sit on that sideline and go through some things that he can say on this third, looking at you got a couple of high safeties, you got, a guy jump down in the box on this. I think, and I think we all agree on the same thing. I think we were looking for him to make this big jump the second part of this, the second year. And but the thing about it, when you go back and look at those guys who've made those jumps, they probably had a veteran or two sitting there in the back, not worried about their job, but just sitting there who can just sort of just give them that little bit of that little bit of veteran knowledge. And I think that's what you have. What you have on as far as on the quarterback room. Who's the seasoned veteran in the quarterback room?
Good question.
Good
mean,
question.
they don't have one.
I mean, because normally you would have that. I mean, who's the Jerry Hughes? And I mean, I'm not calling Jerry old or nothing, but Jerry has been around. He's sort of that veteran. He's that Mr. Miyagi in the defensive side of the ball who can tell. Who is the Mr. Miyagi for Davis Mills? I'm throwing it out there, man, because the kid's struggling. I mean, and you want to see him succeed. I want to see the Texans succeed as a fan. Okay, I can be a fan and just want to see it succeed, but objectively, he's not coming anywhere close, man. I mean, and so I'm just sort of wondering if and when but what tell you what, before we get further down the road, Kenyon Green and I've been one of the big Kenyon Green, I'm the biggest kid. Kenyon didn't have a good ball game today, folks. I mean, no, he didn't have a good ball game today. And one thing about it, and I addressed that with him, and he stood up and he accepted it. So I want to get these quick comments from Kenyon Green before we get back on the rest of the deal here.
Kenyon, I mean, you had a tough outing this time. You got a holding penalty, and you turn around and got a personal foul. You want to talk about the sequence on what happened on that particular play and the overall?
Just got to be better as a player. Just work on my technique. I got to be on that play, and it didn't really go as well for me. I need to just control my emotions and everything.
Disappointing was it for you?
Hey guys, I mean, you can't take it. I mean, he just stood up and took it. I mean,
Yeah.
It was nothing else. And like I said, like the kid, I think the kid. I mean, let's face it. The next several years, this kid could be getting addressed as an All-Pro. I mean, I from what I've seen so far, I mean, he's a mauler inside. I think they got to keep building around him. But today, I think he had his problem. And you know what? He as a rookie offensive lineman, and that's to me, that's like what chamber music of an orchestra. All of those guys got to work together. Yeah. And trust me, the fronts, and I'm pretty sure he had some fronts. He saw some fronts today. And in fact, he got wrapped up in there with Kyle Van Noy Jr. And so, he's gonna learn. But the thing about it, and like I said, I take my hat off to him. You stood in there and say, "I just got to do better." Plus, the key thing is controlling his emotion. Because after he got the holding penalty, then he turned around there. Because I thought they was gonna call it offsetting personal fouls, but he did sort of throw a right hook out there. And so, the NFL in they imperfect world are trying to marshal the games as far as the referee's concerned. They trying to keep the game to some degree of whatever. I don't know what the hell they're trying to keep the game to sometimes from the way they call sometimes. But anyway, I really don't sometimes, man. I'm still trying to understand what pass interference is. I used to think I know what a catch was, but I'm not gonna go off on that tangent right there. But anyway, I think I did just go off. I'm not sure. I don't care. I can go off on the damn tangent if I want. But anyway, hey, let's have a quick break from our sponsor, and then we'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, Let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
Yep, that's right, folks. Ken Ross, 281-235-5952. And, in mention, he just got through mentioning being on the Gulf Coast and needing insurance. For some folks needing flood insurance, particularly for us, because Houston is only 52 feet above sea level. That was the last time they checked. It might have dropped a little bit, but whatever the case might be. Elwin, you dropped out? Look like Elwin dropped out. We got to bring him back in. Okay, there he is. Yeah, dropped out a little bit. I think he had dropped out, huh?
Unless a team scores a touchdown or a team
Yep.
maintains possession for the entire
Elwin, I think Elwin, he got me now.
He driving East Texas, so he probably got you.
He got me now. When the reception might have caught the Piney Woods. He's looking. I bet a pine tree. I bet some of them pine trees have deflected himself because he's not laughing. He's looking at me. Oh, and I think they're having some problems. But I tell you what, let me take him down. I can hear him, but I don't think he can see anything. Lemont,
yes, sir.
You had a chance to watch. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, I think he's gone again. Anyway, yeah, he's gone again. Tell you what, if he pop back up, you had a chance to see Shedeur Sanders.
Yes.
You covered Jackson State game a couple of weeks ago, yes. And so what I would like, give me a thumbnail. I mean, I've heard Dion mention the fact about it. He thinks that should be considered in the Heisman talk. When you look at his numbers, there's no disagreement for me. I mean, you got Bryce Young out here, you got C.J. Stroud out here, Will Anderson. But I remember when Al McNair, when his time, he was talked about in a Heisman realm, and really from an FCS standpoint. And I remember Sweetness, Walter Payton, at one time had some quote unquote Heisman. Your perspective on this young man and what he his long range future, and as far as, I mean, let's face it, it's a long. They will consider him a long range shot, because the first thing they're gonna say, well, look at the caliber of talent that he's playing. Okay, all that, but what's your thumbnail on him?
Well, I mean, I covered the game for ESPN Plus. We did it. My broadcast partner and I did the game, and so far, what I've seen from him, he checks all the box. I mean, he's 6'2", quarterback with a strong arm. He was, zip lining the passes out to his receivers. He has a bunch of talent receivers, and the fact that he's Deion's son, he's going to get a lot of attention. But rightfully so. If he wasn't Deion's son, he still would get the attention, because he's putting up some huge numbers. He threw for over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns against the Mississippi Valley. They beat him 49-7, and I really like his upside. He's only a sophomore, so Heisman talk. I think he should be in the conversation just based on numbers alone. But we all know that the Heisman comes with a lot of fundraising when it comes to campaigning and things like that, as far as the media pushing it. So he has an uphill battle when it comes to that. But as far as talent alone and ability on the field, he's the real deal.
Hey, well, like I said, I mean, why not? I mean, I think his name should be in the talk, and the thing about it, let's face it. But you had a chance to deal with Pop, while you was down there. What about Coach Prime and what he's doing down there, and the way he's doing with the Jackson State program?
I think Coach Prime is doing an excellent job. I really think he's putting a spotlight not just on Jackson State, but also the SWAC conference, HBCUs. I'm a former HBCU player. I played at Howard University, so he's doing a really good job by elevating and exposing this brand of football to the world. Coach Prime, wherever he goes, he's going to be a spotlight within himself with his personality and his persona, and rightfully so, Hall of Famer, NFL Hall of Famer, and also he played Major League Baseball. So, everyone knows Coach Prime, everybody knows Deion Sanders, and what he brings to the table. And I really think the fact that with him being in the SWAC conference only elevates the exposure. You can see now Grambling State has Hugh Jackson as a head coach. You know, Tennessee State has
Eddie George.
Eddie
Eddie George.
George,
Yeah.
and yesterday you saw Alabama State come in town, play Texas Southern with Eddie Robertson Jr., former Houston Oilers player and alumni of Alabama State. So it seems like all the other schools are adjusting and bringing in big name coaches to elevate what Coach Prime is doing down there in Jackson State.
Without a doubt. And Elwin, you know, in keeping with that, Traylor, which is University of Texas at San Antonio. I mean, how long is he playing? How long do you think he's going to stay there? Because I got a sneaking suspicion the way he done turned that program around, not for long.
Well, I don't think so either, AD. And all of us in Gilmer, with all the experience we've had with Jeff Traylor through the years, from high school on up, we were wanting to see how he could hang with Texas. And, you know, they hung well for 3 quarters. And, of course, Sarkisian is up and down this year. They did get that win over West Virginia yesterday. But I've already heard some rumblings from people that I know in Austin that are saying they are whispering under their breath that Jeff Traylor should have been hired instead of Sark. But the reason was the Regents didn't feel like he had enough college coaching experience in a head coaching position. And the way he played Houston, of course, that's when the U of H was playing a lot better than they are right now. But the way he played them and the fact that he played the Longhorns as well as he did for 3 quarters, I don't believe Sark is out this year, regardless of what he does. But I honestly believe if they do fire Sark after next year, if Texas doesn't get it together where they want it to be, I firmly believe Jeff Traylor will become the next head coach of the University of Texas Longhorns. So I'd say another year or 2. He did, after one of their recent games, well, in fact, it was after the Texas game, in his press conference, he was very upset. And he made the comment, you see where we are. We are a competitive team. We can compete with anybody, but we don't have the bodies and we don't have the NIL money to pay the players like Texas Tech and Alabama and, you know, Texas and all of those teams do. And he literally was challenging the UTSA fan base to donate money for NIL so they can pay their players more. And he is concerned about being able to recruit. Even though they are a BCS school, he's concerned about being able to stay in the recruiting game, not having the NIL money. So that alone, I think, means his days are numbered at UTSA.
Well, let's face it, the fact that just being on the 40 acres, that's an NIL right there. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, we know guys. We know most guys. You know, unless there's only a few schools that the guys, you know, have opportunity. You know, but you know, I hear very few guys that go to the 40 acres. They, you know, they want to leave early. They want to stay. If they can stay 5 years or 6 years, you know, I think some of them have to take a pay cut to come out to go to the pros. Maybe that's an over exaggeration. Maybe a few. Maybe you need to move the decimal places, you know, to the left a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. But you know, it's interesting. You know, hey folks, we did not forget the Texans. No, but you know what? There's only so much you can do with this pig. I mean, we put some nice. We brought the Chanel perfume. You know, we had a beautician. We ready to put this nice gown on it and everything. And I'll be doggone. Before the game got started, went out there and had in a gown and everything, and rolled in the mud. And before we know it, I mean, I'm doing it. I can do the best I can, but I'm not gonna lie to you about it. I mean, because if I start lying about what we see out there, and you people got 2 eyes, y'all got 2 eyes too. You know, that's just like somebody telling me somebody else didn't win the 2020 election. But I'm not gonna make this a political event right about now. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave that just right there. Next week, what? I mean, guys, you know, as we get ready to wrap this up, Lemont, you know, first, and then we'll get Elwin before he gets too far and let them for those pine roots start knocking out the Wi-Fi signal. No, I tell you what, Elwin go first, and then we'll close and let you get out, let you get on down the road, and tell the beautiful lady that we appreciate her letting you just, because I know she probably wanted to drive and let you, but I know you want to drive too. But tell her I appreciate her. Always good seeing her, and down the road. But closing comments from you.
Well, I would hope that we can see a different Texans team next week out there on the field. I have to say, you always hear, well, it starts off slow, and we've talked about this at the beginning of the season. They can no longer have but one padded practice a week. There's no more 2-a-day practices. All of that affected teams being able to get where they wanted to be early in the season. But you always expect that to improve in week 2, improve in week 3, improve in week 4, and continue to improve. I'm afraid that the fans are going to get to the point, if they don't see improvement quickly, they're going to jump off the wagon, so to speak. And the Texans don't need that. As we've talked about before, for the life of me, never understood why Texans fans want to stay out in the parking lot and do their tailgating thing during the game just because they got a TV monitor hooked up. I'm gonna say, and I know it's the 30th of October before the Texans are back at home, but the fans need to seriously themselves commit to, I'm going to get out of the parking lot and I'm going to get out of the party zone and I'm going to get in there in that stadium and make noise. I don't care how good a team you are. It's got to be depressing to that team to sit in there and look at a stadium that is basically sold out. It's not even 50% full. So I think that's one of the things that the fans need to do is get on board and get in there. But as far as the Texans themselves, they've got to help themselves out a lot. And so far, I haven't seen that happen. They don't seem to be making progress each week, and that's very disappointing. And I think next week is a critical week.
Yeah, I mean, because you're at the quarter. I mean, this is roughly the quarter-mile mark for this season. So, yeah. I mean, let's face it. Elwin, tell you what, man, I'm gonna go ahead and let you get on down the road. Appreciate you being. I'll get back with you, and as always, man, be blessed, be safe, going down the road and get back home, man. I'll be in touch.
Thanks for having me. Y'all have a good week.
All right, now.
All right, Erwin.
Lemont, as we close it, I mean, I'm pulling on your relationship with Pep and knowing, it was kind of fun. I don't know if I mentioned this to you. I said it out loud. We were watching Sandy. I said it. I said I was going to say it.
Yeah.
Again, we were watching the quarterback, the Chargers quarterback, and I kept saying, this is who Pep had worked with, right? And we sort of laughed about it, and we just sort of just envisioning that's what Pep produced, right? And then we turned around and looked on the other side, and let's face it, let's go to the upside. That third quarter when the Texans, that was a drive there, that 58-yard drive to Nico Collins, the 18-yard pass to Cooks. He sit back, good progression, but that they need to be able to hook those plays together, and they too far in between. And I'm not sure what it's going to take to keep that consistency on that, on that drive, that 58-yard drive, that 18-yard. Your opinion, what do you think? What is it going to need to do to just get some more consistency there?
The key word, like you said, consistency for them to keep that going. It's going to start with their running game. I think they want to be a passing team for some reason, but they don't have multiple weapons for that. They rely on the tight ends. At times you can get O.J. Howard to participate. You get, Nico Collins every now and then, and they go-to guys. Number 13? Can't think of his name right now, but to me, I think Cooks. I think everything starts with the O-line and Damian Pierce as far as running the football. I think they need to establish the run early and often against any team at home or against, on the road. We saw what they did against the Bears, and now we're seeing what they can do against what they did against the Chargers as far as running the football. But I think consistency starts with the running game, which eventually will help help their quarterback Davis Mills build confidence and open up their passing game. So I really think, and that helped also Pep with his play calling. I mean, once you start running the ball downhill, everything else will start to flow as far as play action and things like that.
Yeah, the thing about it, I think we got a starting five now. I think the fact because Britt, nobody, I haven't heard anything. I don't know what you've heard. I don't think Britt is gone for what extended period of time. So Quisenberry in there. I mean, we know because that's going to be the five that they got right now, and so hopefully that keeping that five together will just start to bring some homogenization to that team as a unit, and then also for the simple reason, man, I don't know, it's just to me, I think today was growing pains for Kenyon Green. As much as good as he is with all the tools, I think the fact he's finding out what is it going to take to be a pro in this league.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, I think Kenyon we're going to find out whether he's going to be a pro or not. But anyway, folks, hey, that's it. That's the story from NRG today. As much as we would like to put a better spin on it, yeah, they came back in the third quarter. But I think that fourth down play at the end of the half, the fact that you jumped off with you started off with a passing with Mills throwing the interception, Chargers go down and score. I mean, a lot of things, and the score looked good, score was tight. They got back in the game, but the fact of the matter, and just something that Jerry Hughes, mentioned again. I didn't play the tape, but Jerry Hughes said, we can't keep just digging ourselves holes and then try to dig out. You just can't do it. So. That's it. Hey, that's folks. Hey, Lemont, appreciate it. As always, man. We'll be next week. We're back on the corner. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Be in touch with you as well, man. Okay. All right, folks. That's it. Your Texans have not put a W up yet. Could it be next week? Well, we got the name. That's the reason they step on the field. And I'm not going to try to just, speculate or whatever the case might be. I'm just going to just line up. You're going to see what I see, and I'm going to have to give you whatever the insights that we have. So, as far as, the guys, Elvin going down the road, the MVP, Lemont Williams, appreciate you. Thank y'all for just stopping at the corner. If you have not subscribed to the AdMax Corner on YouTube, please do so. If you have not subscribed to the Houston Roundball Review, please do so, because we on both channels, and y'all can get me on Facebook. So, without further ado, if you have not got your Omicron variant shot, they are out there. Therefore, if you want to take them, please go ahead and avail yourself of it. Flu season is coming around. If you have not availed yourself of the flu shot, please take care of it. So, without further ado, this is your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore, from the corner. Ciao. Take care, folks. I'm out.